What's going on, YouTube? Thank you for tuning in to the Lamark Files, aka the Real Lamark Moore Show, aka Alabama Bandit, aka Lamark Terrell Moore from Opelika, right? And it's kind of weird, man. You know, this is going to be off topic. Not really off topic because it has something to do with it, man. But what a coincidence, man, that one of the uh, so-called boys, right? Hips done threw his name out there. Uh, he lives in Opelika as well. I don't know if he was in Opelika or he caught himself a case in Opelika, man. I don't know. It's just too much stuff going on, man. The more I look at it, I'm like, man, this dude lives in Opelika, right? This other dude got a case for, almost some arson type of shit, right? I'm like, don't tell me this dude caught up to old Mark, right? Because I don't see these two dudes. If these two dudes are from Opelika, and one was a boy and the other one was the war daddy, I don't know, man. There's a lot of conspiracy theories, right? A lot of conspiracy theories, man. Did Mark talk to his boys after prison? Did he have any kind of contact? Well, based off the documentary, we know he had some kind of contact during his incarceration because, he would write apology letters to certain victims, asking them for their forgiveness and, whatnot. Maybe it was just his whole boo game. Maybe he probably felt that this dude really loved him. And who knows, man? I don't know if it was some sick, twisted, dysfunctional gay prison family, man. It's how, it's crazy, man. It really is. So let's get back to the documentary at hand.
First boy was JD. We were together for approximately 2 years before he went on parole. During those 2 years, we developed great feelings for one another. You know, he was like my shadow. Every way you seen me, you seen him.
But check it out. Right here, he says, we were together till the dude made parole. Right? We were together till he made parole. Right? But then here, in a little bit, he starts explaining his feelings about JD. Right? On how he was in love with him. He didn't want to call it love, but it was something emotional, right? It'll get his heartbeat racing when he see him talking to another man, and he was about to go catch another case, right? We know Lamarck shot a boyfriend, ex-boyfriend of his baby mama, right? So he takes his partner, that's his. So I don't see him protecting the boy no more different than he would coven a female. Go all out for him, crash out. He crashed out for his baby mama, got him 20 years. But here we're talking about JD. Let's get back at it.
We were best friends. It wasn't, the relationship wasn't based on sex,
You see, when he talks about relationship based off of sex, we were friends. Here in a little bit, we're going to go back and we're going to listen to what Jerry Gaskins got to say. He sees Mark like a little brother. Right? He sees Mark like a little brother. So could it be? I don't know, man. Right? I don't think the dates and the time frames and how can I say it, man? There's a lot of unanswered questions, right? That I'm just, just thinking about. For an example,
I cared deeply about him. I woke up, first thing I wanted to see was him. When I went to bed at night, last thing I wanted to see was him. In love with him. The game is...
All right. You heard what he said. He was in love for 2 years, right? 2 years. Let's fast forward a little bit, y'all.
Box full of candy back there. Cookies, zoos, and wham-whams is what they call it. I'm going to loan it to another inmate. I'll let you get a pack of cookies for 2 packs back next week. If a man borrows too much stuff, it goes too far in there. Either you fight for it.
You see that dude back there just ear hustling, right? He's just ear hustling, man. Making sure no honey buns gives up no cold words about screaming danger or help. He's out there just listening to what old honey bun got to say. You know, he don't want to, you know, honey bun might say the wrong thing and get the whole dorm shaken down and might get old honey bun transferred. So that's why old school back there, I don't know who he is or what he got to do with honey bun. But he's back there ear hustling, man.
And let him know I'm not going to pay you, so me and you just going to have to whoop each other's ass, and we're going to go to lockup, and we're going to go back here and fuck, just ever how you want to do.
Oh, no, that's
the way it works.
Not prison environment. Once again, this is prison environment. This is a documentary to prevent awareness and prevention on the circumstances of being in prison. Stuff like this, kids, can happen to you. So YouTube, this is for educational purpose, awareness, and prevention. That is more context of what the story is about. This is not just some flick. It's educational purposes. More into context. Thank you, YouTube.
Board, 10 suits. He ended up fucking out his ass the rest of his life.
A little bit in context of what he said right there. Basically, if you gamble or don't have money to pay back what somebody loaned you, the chances of you becoming somebody's property and being sold off and being assaulted and abused is very highly. As Honey Bun explains it, William Burnett, you know, if you can't pay a 10, 10 turns into 20, 20 turns into 40, and then 40 turns into 80, and then there's no other option. Like, you know, what else is there for these guys to do? They don't have the eye of the tiger. They don't have warrior blood in them to go all out. So in a way that they choose the lesser evil, right? They don't want to get beat on, so they submit.
While he's here, on the count of 10 suits.
10 suits?
Because 10 suits, if you can't pay it this week, it's going to cost you 20 suits next week. And the week after that, it's going to be 40 suits. So sooner or later, the man's going to step to you and tell you, hey, I'm tired of your shit.
Yeah, as Willie Burnett clearly explained it to you. If you can't pay a depth of 10 soups, it doubles up. And it continues to double up and double up. Right? This is the context of Alabama prison. Right?
I basically met Lamark Moore in 1996 or 97, one state, and we were business partners. Okay, when I left and he left, we met up again here at Limestone in 2000. Okay, and it was the same scenario. Hips went to the street and come back to prison. When he got to the camp, he owed out like $300-400 worth of shit. When he first got there, from before when he was in prison, Mark had a boy, David Mendenhall. I met Mark on the chain gang.
Here, we're going to get into explanation on how David Mendenhall met Mark. Right? Was Mark the one that approached him and, as you would say in Texas, broke him in? Mark's not the one that broke him. Right? Mark is the one that was the comforter, the protector. It's the lesser evil of two, right? Isn't that what they say, man? You're going to be a Republican or a Democrat. You got to pick the lesser evil of each, right? For me, politics have never affected my life, so I could care less about politics or whatever president's in office. Right? It's never the president in office has never dictated my productivity or my income or any such thing that's bothered me. Right? It doesn't, because every pay raise, every promotion that I've received was based off my performance, not based off who was in the president office. No, they care less about me. So why should I care about them? Right? They don't care if I got a bonus or I got paid extra or how much over. They don't care about none of that. So why should I care about them? It doesn't affect me, right? Because I know if I don't work, I don't eat. If I don't provide, my family doesn't eat. So it's all up to me. It's all based off my performance. So enough of the politic, right? I just got off track right there for a little bit, man. So let's get back up on the David Mendenhall situation, right? Like I said, the edited version makes the impression that Mark Moore was David Mendenhall's perpetrator, assailant, dominant, right? But it's far from it, because you can clearly hear it from David Mendenhall's.
Never say it was in '98. Mindy, he was my baby. He came to me. Mindy came to me and requested to be with me. You know what I'm saying? Which was rather strange, because this is like the first guy that ever pulled up on me and said, "Hey man, can I be with you?" Here at Limestone, half the guys waiting at the back gate.
I do believe that, right? That's highly possible, right? Because hearing a little bit more, the more you go into the documentary, David Mendenhall goes into more detail, right? There was somebody here before Mark, right, that actually, would probably, abuse him, sell him off, not take care of him, didn't have a say. He was just basically property, to where David Mendenhall would question God, right? Man, why this? Why that? So it comes to the point, man, to where you as a victim, I guess they start deciding to start picking the lesser evil of the two. Let's use Mark and Big Ox, right? And we heard it from Mark's word, man. Mark felt like a protector. Abuse, the similarities of their lifestyle have brought them together in the dysfunctional prison family. It's sad. It's a sad story all the way around. There ain't no true winners in it, other than the documentary, the people that monetized it and profit off of it. Those are the only real winners. Not the Marks, not the Hips, not the Mendenhalls, not the Lucases, not the Harrises, not the William Burnett's. There was no real winner. So put yourself in David Mendenhall's situation. You got a Big Ox, slaps you around, mistreats you, sells you off as needed, or whatever he wants. And then you got Mark, that's more into a consensual, loving relationship. A gay, bi, loving relationship. Intimate, caring, protective. So, it's wrong, but at the same time, it was like, do I just go with the flow, or do I continue going against it? Right? So eventually he submitted. And it seems like he decided to submit to Mark consensually. Right? Based off the documentary. I'm going based off the documentary. Right? I'm not going off anything else other than the documentary. So David Mendenhall chose a consensual based off the documentary, right? Because I was in the impression that Mendenhall was Mark's victim, but in reality, it was more of a consensual. David Mendenhall had already been in the system. He'd already been abused. He felt with Mark. He seen Mark more of a partner, right? A relationship, instead of being in some kind of abusive prison relationship. It's abusive to be submitted to a man regardless, But I guess in his situation, he's like, man, look, over here I get slapped and beat around, and I get sold off. Over here, Mark takes care of me. But I at the end of the day, I still got to submit to either one, right? So he chose Mark, right? And as we go more into the documentary, it clearly clarifies that, right? Based off the documentary. And let's hear what Young got to say. And we're going to cut this short.
On you. About the only way you can get turned out is you fall for the game. I turned Adi out. Adi was fresh in prison. Had been.
See, once again, it's just Adi, aka this youngin, this guy that just talked, right? Mark says he turned him out, right? But he didn't turn him out, because you go more into as you go into the documentary. David Mendenhall is the one that turns out Youngin, right? Youngin first relationship was with David Mendenhall, and as we go into the documentary, Eddie will explain that Mark found out that he had slept with Mendenhall, and that Mark started getting anxious, right? He started wanting to sleep with the Youngin guy, Eddie, right? So we're going to dive down deep into this rabbit hole, man. But I had to bring the smut to this channel over here, man. Right? It's only fair that the channel's name's the Lamarkstein Files or the Real Lamark Show. But this is where the new content's going to be at, man. If you want up-to-date breaking news, I have a lot of breaking news that I still haven't, and I probably won't, man. Not no time soon, right? I'm not in no rush to spill the beans, right? But let's just know that I know what you know, right? Y'all have a good one.